Okay, welcome back in. I'm now going to be reviewing Tuesday's action from the National Hockey League as the playoffs are still continuing, and getting into game number 5 for some of these matchups that could be a make or break game for the series. Other ones, I believe there's only like one other series is actually tied at 2 at this point, so a lot of elimination games could have taken place on Tuesday night. Starting with Game 5 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. Heading into game number 5, the Bruins had a 3-1 lead, and we're looking to wrap this series up as quickly as possible. In the first period, Jake McCabe would open up the scoring, getting his first goal of the playoffs from Marner and Domi, 5 minutes and 33 seconds of the first period. Frederick would tie the game up with 6 minutes and 6 seconds remaining, getting his third goal of the playoffs, assisted by Pat Maroon. There was no scoring for the next 2 periods, therefore we would need overtime to settle this one. Matthew Knies would strike, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Tavares and Labushkin. 2 minutes and 26 seconds of the overtime frame, so they kept the Maple Leafs season alive for now. So there would be a guaranteed Game 6 back in Toronto. Okay, the next matchup took place between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. The Hurricanes had a 3-1 series lead heading back home. They're looking to end the Islanders season, while New York was hoping to stave off elimination for yet another game. In the first period, Teravainen would kick things off, getting his second goal of the playoffs, assisted by Jarvis and Slavin, just a minute and 23 seconds of the opening frame. Svechnikov would get his first goal of the playoffs from Jarvis and Brett Burns, a power play goal, 3 minutes and 13 seconds of the first period. Mike Riley would get his first playoff goal, assisted by Barzal and Nelson, a power play goal of his own, 3 minutes and 54 seconds of that same frame. So less than a minute after Svechnikov scored, Riley would cut the deficit to 2-1, both power play goals. Now, something you don't see too often is a penalty shot in the playoffs, but that happened because I believe Romanov, the defenseman from New York, put his glove over the puck in the crease, and then he tried to shuffle the puck away to prevent a goal, but that's an automatic call. The refs are going to see that all day long. The Carolina Hurricanes went with Kuznetsov, and big surprise, he took his sweet time, which is like his signature to do in a penalty shot scenario. And he ended up deking out Varlamov. Varlamov went to try to poke check. It didn't work. Kuznetsov capitalized. So the Hurricanes had a 3-1 lead heading into the second period. Brock Nelson would cut the deficit to 3-2, getting his second goal of the playoffs from Palmieri and Pollock, 3 minutes and 47 seconds of the second period. Cizikas would tie the game up with just 22 seconds remaining, his first power play goal, assisted by Barzal and Pollock. Heading into the third period, we had 3 goals apiece. In the third, Drury would break the tie, getting his first goal of the playoffs from Shea and Nistas, 4 minutes and 36 seconds of the third period. Scott Nason would get his third goal of the playoffs from Shea and Kuznetsov, 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Literally just 8 seconds after Drury scored, the Hurricanes had 2 goals in a 8-second span. The Islanders did pull the goal late in the third period, hoping for a miracle, but Seth Jarvis would get the puck, getting the empty net goal with 1 minute and 39 seconds remaining. The Hurricanes for Jarvis' third goal of the playoffs, and the Hurricanes would go on to win this contest 6-3, taking the series in 5 games. So a heartbreaking loss for the Islanders. Obviously, they had high hopes heading into the playoffs. They had momentum coming into the playoffs too, but this Hurricane squad is a juggernaut, to say the least. Alrighty, now we're off to the west side of things, where we had the Winnipeg Jets, and they were playing host to the Colorado Avalanche. They were hoping, so the Avalanche had a 3-1 series lead heading into this matchup. After game 1, even though it was a high-scoring affair, I thought, the Jets looked dominant, and no disrespect to anybody else or any other team, but this is a very deep squad. I can't remember the last time the Jets had 1 to 12 to the lineup forward-wise, and defensive-wise, so stacked. But evidently, they ran into a very good team in the Avalanche, so they were trailing 3 games to 1 heading into game number 5. Kyle Connor will kick things off, getting his third goal of the playoffs, just a minute and 15 seconds. I believe it says owned, so I think there's a good chance he touched the puck last, but then went off a Colorado defenseman and in. Nichushkin would tie the game up, getting his 7th goal of the series from Taves and Rantanen, 3 minutes and 18 seconds of the opening frame. After 20 minutes of play, we were all tied up at 1. In the second period, Trenin would get his first goal of the playoffs from Manson and Cogliano, 5 minutes and 42 seconds of the second period, putting the Avs on top 2-1. It'd be very short-lived, though, as Josh Morrissey would tie the game up, getting his third goal of the playoffs, a power play goal as well from Scheifele and Bellardi, 6 minutes and 48 seconds of the second period. Arturi Lehkonen would put the Avs back on top, getting his 5th goal of the playoffs, 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. It says own, so again, good chance he touched the puck, maybe put it on net, went off a Winnipeg forward or defenseman into their own net. And God, I just want to say this as a quick little side note. I miss Lehkonen as a Habs fan. That guy was crucial in our playoff run in 2021, but he's succeeded and he's had much success since joining Colorado, obviously winning the Cup just 2 seasons ago. So in the third period, the Avs were carrying a 3-2 lead. Tyler Toffoli would tie the game up, getting his 2nd goal of the series from Ehlers and Colin Miller, 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the third frame. Mikko Rantanen, hard to believe, would be his first goal of the playoffs. Took 5 games to hit that schneid, assisted by Taves and McKinnon, 4 minutes and 11 seconds of that third period, putting the Avs back on top 4-3. He would strike again less than 4 minutes after that, 8 minutes and 1 second to be exact, getting his 2nd goal of the night, his 2nd goal of the playoffs from McKinnon and Makar. At that point, the Avs had a 5-3 lead, and then with just about 2 seconds remaining on the clock, Josh Manson would increase lead to 6-3 and empty net goal, his 2nd of the playoffs, assisted by Mittelstadt. So the Avs, after losing game 1, would go on to win 4 straight games. And this has been a very repetitive pattern for the Jets. Again, last year they won the first game, lost 4 in a row. Now this is going to be contradictory. In 2019, they had a 2-0 series lead against the Blues, and then they lost 4 straight. And in 2018, they made it all the way to the conference final, won game 1, lost 4 straight. So it seems to be a very common theme. The Jets, just a little advice for next season, just lose game 1. What can it hurt? Anyways, so the Jets have been eliminated and the Avalanche are moving on. Okay, so the last matchup from Tuesday took place between the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. So coming into this contest, the Vancouver Canucks actually kind of shocked myself by going into Nashville and taking 2 games in Nashville. Not saying that Vancouver was a bad team, but because of their goaltending situation, they're on their 3rd string goalie. Let's just put it that way in the playoffs. So goalie-wise, it looked like Saros should have been the better goaltender against the likes of DeSmith or Silvoa, if that's what his name is. But evidently, like I said, the Canucks had a 3-1 series advantage, heading back home, looking to close out the series. So there's no scoring in the first 2 periods. In the third period, Zadorov would get his 2nd goal of the playoffs, assisted by Quinn Hughes, 3 minutes and 11 seconds of the third period, putting the Canucks on top 1-0. Roman Josi would tie the game up, getting his first goal of the playoffs from Forsberg and Barry, 7 minutes and 15 seconds of the third frame, a power play goal as well, tying the game up at 1. Alex Carrier would get his first goal of the playoffs, assisted by Nyquist and Philip Forsberg, with 7 minutes and 14 seconds to go, putting Nashville in the lead 2-1. That would be the final score. All goals were scored by defensemen in this matchup. So the Nashville Predators were keeping their season alive. There's guaranteed to be at least a Game 6 in Nashville, with the Canucks still holding a 3-2 series lead. All right, that takes care of everything from Tuesday's action of the NHL. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.